Have you ever looked out your window late at night and wondered if the person living next door was hiding something terrifying? What if I told you that sometimes the scariest monsters don't live in haunted houses? They live right beside you. This is the story of how I discovered that my neighbor was never human. When I moved into a quiet neighborhood, everything seemed peaceful. The streets were clean, the houses looked normal, and everyone smiled politely. But there was one house that always felt different. It belonged to an old man named Mr. Carter. No one ever saw him during the day. His curtains stayed closed all the time, and his yard was strangely perfect, without a single leaf on the ground. Every night at exactly 3 a.m., I would hear slow footsteps outside my bedroom window. At first, I thought it was just someone taking a late-night walk. But every single night, the footsteps stopped right outside my window for exactly 1 minute before walking away. One evening, I asked another neighbor about Mr. Carter. The woman suddenly became nervous. She looked around before whispering, "Don't knock on his door. Just pretend he doesn't exist." Before I could ask why, she quickly walked away. That night, I couldn't sleep. When the footsteps came again, I carefully looked through the curtain. Mr. Carter was standing in my front yard. He wasn't moving. He was simply staring directly at my house. His face looked pale under the moonlight, and his smile never changed. After exactly 1 minute, he slowly turned around and disappeared into the darkness. The next morning, I walked outside and found strange footprints in the grass. They looked almost human, but each footprint had 6 long toes. I convinced myself it had to be some kind of prank. A few days later, my dog suddenly refused to go outside after sunset. Every evening, he growled toward Mr. Carter's house with his tail between his legs. Animals usually sense danger before humans do, but I ignored the warning. Then one rainy night, the power went out across the neighborhood. The only house with lights still glowing was Mr. Carter's. Curious, I walked closer through the rain. As I reached his window, I looked inside. What I saw froze my blood. Mr. Carter was standing in the middle of an empty room. His skin slowly split open like old paper. Underneath wasn't flesh or bone. It was something black, covered with moving shadows that twisted like living smoke. His arms stretched until they touched the ceiling, and his head turned completely backward without making a sound. I stumbled away in horror, accidentally knocking over a flower pot. Every light inside the house instantly went dark. Then I heard the front door slowly creak open behind me. I ran as fast as I could without looking back. The next morning, police cars filled the street. Mr. Carter's house was completely empty. There was no furniture, no clothes, no food, and no sign that anyone had ever lived there. The officers said the house had been abandoned for more than 30 years. I tried to tell them what I saw, but they only exchanged confused looks. One officer quietly admitted that every family who had lived next door reported strange sightings before suddenly moving away. Nobody stayed longer than 6 months. I packed my belongings that same day. As I drove away, I looked one last time at the empty house. Standing behind the upstairs window was Mr. Carter, smiling the same impossible smile. He slowly raised one hand and waved goodbye. The house was officially empty, but I knew the truth. My neighbor had never been human. Even now, years later, whenever I move into a new place, I always check the house next door before unpacking, because sometimes the people who smile at you every day aren't people at all. And if someone stands outside your window every night at exactly 3 a.m., whatever you do, don't let them know you've seen them. If you enjoyed this terrifying story, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more chilling horror stories. Sleep carefully, because your next door neighbor might already be watching you.